Welcome back. I want to wish you all a very happy new year, a very blissful new year, I hope, if you're practicing the techniques on this channel. And I want to talk today about how we can make our meditation correct. What is the litmus test? How can we know that what we're doing is effective? And I've talked about this before, but I want to make it super clear. And that has to do with the four proofs. Simply put, if you don't have one of the four proofs, if you're not proving to yourself that you're getting into the parasympathetic nervous system, then the meditation is incorrect. It's a wash. It doesn't mean that the effort was wasted. It just means you haven't figured out how to use your parasympathetic nervous system just yet. And that's really the beginning step. And if you understand that, it's so huge because now you have this gigantic tool to use inside. It's this gigantic lever. And the principle of creating change is, what is the biggest lever that I can pull? What is the hugest thing that I can do to create this change? And in the realm of meditation, it, of course, is your breath, and specifically using your breath to sync it up with your heart. And that's the heart rate variability resonance. So let's get into that. Let's get into the four proofs and how that's going to prove that your Kriya or your meditation is correct. So really, this is what I would like to bring to the entire meditation and Kriya community specifically. This is my gift to you, is to say, look, I don't care so much what Kriya you are doing or what lineage you are practicing. Or maybe you're practicing something else. Maybe you're practicing a mindfulness Buddhistic meditation. Beautiful. I love it. I love all of that. And so my question to you is it producing the four proofs? Okay, so Forrest, I'm new here. What are the four proofs? So the four proofs, when we are practicing meditation and we are following the principle of sitting very still, then we'll begin to notice these proofs inside of the body. So the body itself becomes a biofeedback device. But you got to pay attention, right? Mindfulness, we have to be present, we have to pay attention and notice what's going on inside. Is this meditation creating a change? If it is, it will show up in the body. It just blows. I mean, when I figured this out, oh my God, I blew my mind. I was going crazy. I was using the 5 breath states. That's all I had at the time. That's when I really began to figure this out. And oh my goodness, my meditations just went, they just skyrocketed. I'm like, this is crazy. How is this working? It's the biofeedback. Biofeedback makes everything better. It's just amazing. And so that's what we're doing. We're creating this biofeedback loop inside of the body, a mirror, if you will. Okay, I'm doing my meditation. What happened? Okay, I'm doing my meditation. What's happening? This mirror keeps telling us what's happening and if the meditation is correct. And so the very first one, as we're sitting very still, and it's nice to have your hands open on your lap, perhaps. And that way you can feel this one a little more easily. And it's the HHH, hands, hot and heavy. Now, when I feel this sometimes, it feels like my hand is almost on fire. It gets quite hot. And it's the blood accumulation. As the body enters into the parasympathetic nervous system, we start sweating. We literally slow down from being stressed out. And as that happens, the skin in the hands especially dries out. We're not in a panic and sweating, and so the hands dry out. You probably won't feel that they're dry, but you'll feel that the blood accumulates inside of them because you're so relaxed that the veins are not tightened up. They're opening. And so the blood is accumulating in the hands, and that makes them warm. And if it's really happening very well and you're sensitive, it gets quite hot. And so we call it hands hot and heavy. Now, if it's warm, you congratulate, you still did it. Perfect, warm, okay. But we like the HHH, right? That makes a lot of sense. It's easy to remember, hands hot and heavy. The second one is, as this is happening, the blood that is in the lip, you might feel it recede as the heart rate goes down and accumulate as the heart rate speeds up. And so you get this fluctuation that's happening with the heart rate variability resonance. That's how we're doing this, right? With the heart rate variability resonance. So the third proof, as we're breathing out long, like really long, right? We make that in-breath a little bit shorter and that out-breath a little bit longer. Amol, always make the out-breath longer, right? That rule, that long breathing of the heart rate variability resonant rates under 7 breaths per minute, right? That long breathing and that long out breath especially puts extra pressure on the thoracic cavity. So I'm breathing out and the diaphragm is pushing up, pushing the air out, right? And it's creating this pressure, a very nice, good pressure on the thoracic cavity. And that pressure is going backwards towards the spine. And the yogi begins to feel this pressure on the spine. He feels it, here's the spine, right? And he feels what's right on top of it, which is the dorsal vagal complex. He starts to feel that pressure. It starts to feel blissful. Now, we don't quite know what blissful is because we just don't use that a lot, right? How's your day? Oh, I'm feeling blissful. What? How did that happen? We don't use that. And so we don't know what it means. But it's kind of a ecstatic, kind of tickling, kind of, oh, this is nice. That's how it feels, okay, in the beginning. Just a little, and it's so, all of these, they can be so small and so subtle. It's like, well, Forrest, I want something big. No, it doesn't work that way. We start out small, okay, and we grow, and then we grow, and then we get used to it, and we get more sensitive, and it grows, and then we lose it, and then we come back, and we find it again. It's a wonderful process. Just don't expect that your higher self, the divine, is just going to come and just, slap you across. Here I am. Damn it. Here I am. It just doesn't work that way. It comes like a thief in the night. And these proofs are like that. They're small. So don't look for something huge and worry that you don't have it. Just look for the small stuff. And I think that's it. Is that it? Oh, my hands are they warmer? I'm not sure. Try it again. By God, they're warm. This is amazing. I have a proof inside of myself. So the third proof is that pressure on the dorsal vagal from the heart to the medulla. We might notice this. It can happen lower, absolutely. But from heart to medulla, it's a little bit easier to feel sometimes, that thoracic pressure. But you can also feel it all the way down at the bottom of the spine, especially on the out-breath. So all of that is relevant. All of that is pressure on the dorsal vagal. And as we really get deep into the heart rate variability resonance, there's this magical thing that happens with the nervous system, and we start to feel this tingling. And where you feel it is probably the place that you are the most relaxed first. So where is that? Is it your hands just resting in your lap? They start to tingle first? Or is it your face? You're just relaxing your face, and so the face starts to tingle. Or, maybe you're keeping your chest very still. You're breathing low in the diaphragm, we hope. And so you start to feel your chest, or maybe your thighs. Maybe your thighs start to tingle. Anywhere. We don't know where it's going to happen first. Usually it's the hands, or maybe the face, or maybe the chest. We don't know. Or maybe the arms. Maybe it starts in your hands and it goes up your arms. Perfect. We don't care. We don't care where it starts. We don't care if it's the whole body or part of the body. That is a sign that you're getting into the parasympathetic nervous system. It's a really deep and wonderful sign. And if you happen to have all of these proofs, you start to feel very blissful and ecstatic. It's kind of wonderful. And so you get addicted to your meditative practice. It's beautiful. Okay, great. So now, Forrest, we got the 4 proofs. How do we get into this? So what I would like to offer to you as a suggestion, and I've said this before, but I want to make it very clear. How do I make sure I want to do my Kriya? So I was given a Kriya, I was given a meditation technique. I like it. I've had good results with it. I want to continue with that. But how do I bring these 4 proofs in? Well, first of all, try out the heart rate variability resonant breathing. It's on this channel, and I also have the resonant breathing app, Resonant, and you'll see the name John Goodard. He is the developer that did this for me. He did a beautiful job. So download that, put it on your phone or your Android or your iPhone. It doesn't matter. It's available for both. And then sit with it and just sit with it for 5 minutes and try out the different breath rates. You can start at 7, then 6.5, then 6, then 5.5, then 5, so on. Find the rate which is comfortable for you. It's not a competition. You want the rate which is the most comfortable for you. So think about doing that heart rate variability resonance as the clinical part of your meditation. I just want to make sure that this is correct. I'm getting into my parasympathetic nervous system. And then once you get a proof, let's say I get hands hot and heavy, right? Or hands warm and heavy, that's fine. I get that first, and then I take a break, I take a small pause, and I move on to my Kriya meditation. Now, I look at myself as I'm doing the Kriya meditation. Are my hands still hot and heavy? Do I still have that proof of the parasympathetic nervous system? And if it goes away and it doesn't come back, then the Kriya that you are doing is incorrect. There is something amiss, because every single Kriya lineage, every single meditation that we have should elicit the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, you might go beyond that. You might go into the freeze response and the tranquil breath and the roll up of consciousness into the brain. All of that is beautiful. That means you're going very, very deep. But in the very beginning, you have to have the parasympathetic nervous system, or you're not going to get to the rest of that. It's the parasympathetic, the dorsal vagal parasympathetic, which gets you into the freeze response. So if that's not happening, then the Kriya is a wash. And it's taking you into somewhere else besides the parasympathetic nervous system. So that means it's probably taking you into or keeping you in the sympathetic nervous system. So you're like, I'm going to do this Kriya, right? And you're in the sympathetic nervous system. You're not eliciting the parasympathetic response. You're not getting the hands hot and heavy. Very, very simple. On this channel, I talk about the original Kriya Yoga. And one of the defining factors is the Om Japa in the chakras. If that is not part of the practice, Lahiri Mahashaya said this means the practice is going to become tamasic, meaning leading to negative results over time. All right? That was his warning. And his family put in his letters, and they chose to put that like 3 times in all of his letters to his disciples. So it was so important that they published this secret information for his students so that they could hear this. If you're not putting the Om Japa in the chakras in your Kriya, or somewhere in the practice, then the Kriya is going to lead to tamasic results. The second defining factor of Kriya Yoga is the parasympathetic nervous system and the long breathing, which creates the heart rate variability resonance. So if that's not part of your Kriya, the Kriya is wrong. Your understanding and your practice of it is incorrect somewhere. So how do we fix that, Forrest? Okay, make the breath long breaths. And this is part of all of the Kriya lineage. They'll all tell you, make the breath long, but not uncomfortable. So you got to find the long breath which is comfortable for you. Does it sound familiar? Find the long breath which is comfortable for you. Perhaps make the out breath a little bit longer, just a tiny bit is fine. And then start out with the heart rate variability resonance, a very clinical way to make sure that you're doing this correctly. Notice a proof, and then do your Kriya. Do I still have the proof? That is the fundamental test of Kriya, if the Kriya is correct for you. Somebody else might be doing the same Kriya, and they might be getting into the parasympathetic nervous system. They're very relaxed with it. But if you're doing a Kriya and it's not getting any of the proofs, hands hot and heavy, lips tingling, dorsal vagal, skin tingling, if you're not getting any of those at all, then the Kriya is incorrect. That's your litmus test. That's your way to know, am I getting into the parasympathetic system and really making a difference in myself, really creating a transformation in my body, which then reflects to the mind, and it makes a difference in the mind. The mind settles down, it becomes more calm, more tranquil, more quiet, more at peace. And then you sit there and you just stop the Kriya at the end, right? That's the Paravasta. We stop the Kriya at the end. We just sit there and feel that peace. And behind that peace, you got to have the peace first. Behind that peace, you might begin to feel the bliss or the joy. That's the thing. That's what I want for you in this new year. So I hope you love this. I hope it makes it really, really clear. It doesn't matter what you're practicing. You still want any of the 4 proofs, any of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you get all of them, great. If you get 1, fantastic. That's it. That's what proves to you that you are in your parasympathetic nervous system, and you are proving it to yourself. You don't need any device. You don't need any professor. You don't need anybody telling you if you're in heart rate variability or not. You feel great. Your own body is the biofeedback, right? You create it inside of yourself, and then you never lose it because you're not going to go without it, right? So it's going to always be there. So I hope you love this. I wish you a happy new year. If you did love this, be sure to hit that bell down below so I can see all of you